Hello everyone, this is Dr. Achala and I welcome you all in our subject module titled as Services Marketing. In our previous discussion, we have dealt with discussing one of the characteristics, that is the characteristic of intangibility, a very important feature in the arena of services marketing, wherein we have dealt that how the service provider and the organization will be able to just use out this feature, and what are the strategies that can be developed for the purpose of encashing this intangibility factor, which is which can be talked of as a very challenging factor for every service marketer, because intangibility itself, it speaks of the fact that here we as a customer or we as a marketer, we are not being able enough to we are not being able enough to assimilate its conspicuous presence. So as the intangibility factor is it's in a factor and a characteristic which gives a challenge, and which is also being talked of as one of the important ingredient of the services, basically when we are talking of with regard to the pure services. In our previous discourse, we have dealt with that how this particular characteristic and what are the important characteristics that can be seen under the concept of the services, and how this particular important feature of the intangibility can be encashed by the service provider to go in for adoption of a particular strategy which is very much being beneficial enough to encash this particular characteristic. Now, in today's discussion, we will be dealing with other characteristics, that is the characteristics of perishability and variability. But before moving on to the characteristic of the perishability and variability, we will be further discussing the important core components which is all being associated in the people process, how the promotional appeal is affecting the strategies, how the branding aspect is affecting the strategies, and how the people who are in direct touch with giving out or delivering out a proper services to the target audience, how they will how they can be motivated enough to move in for the effective delivery process. That is all we will be dealing in today's discussion. So moving on with the slide. Now this slide says that the tangible elements which are associated with the services, they are the people, place, promotion and branding, because in our previous discourse we have dealt with the important characteristic regarding and related within a characteristic of intangibility. So here we are discussing that how this intangibility factor can be made more prominent. It can be like its conspicuous presence can be felt with the users of certain kind of tangible aspect. And those tangible aspects are basically in the form of the people who are authorized enough to deliver a proper and effective delivery process of the services. Similarly, it is in a place wherein we are trying to dispose of our core offerings, and definitely the promotion and the branding, which is also being talked of as a component more being prominent enough with the help of the tangibility clues. So how to just tangibilize out the intangibility, or how to just take out the help of some tangible evidence so that the intangible clues can be made more prominent, because it is the people who are being set to take care of the needs of the target audience. It is the people who are working in the frontline staff, and they are having a greater feel, they are having a greater they are having a greater touch that what are the expectations, the aspirations which the customer and the consumer are holding on with their disposition of their offerings. So the people should be trained enough. Earlier also we have discussed the same fact that the people who are in the frontline staff, they should be trained enough to provide, to create and to provide a proper deliverance of the services aspect. Similarly, place is also a very important factor to talk of, and it is being said as one of the ingredient of the 7 P's that is being used by the service provider, that is people, that is product, apart from the 4 conventional P's, that is product, price, place and promotion. We are having 3 more P's to talk of, and here the 3 more P's are in the form of the people, process and physical evidence. So the place, one of the important characteristic of the 7 P's, we are saying that for the proper disposition of the services, we as a service provider, we should be able enough to cater on to their demand. Whenever they are in a need, we as a marketer, we should be able to satiate out their needs. Definitely in case of the essential services, earlier also we have discussed the fact that in case of the essential services, it is a duty of an effective marketer to provide 24/7 hours whenever there is a need on the part of the customer and the consumer. And these essential services are in the form of the medical services, maybe in the form of the certain kind of the people who are engaged in the academic field. They should be able enough to provide you and to provide out to the target audience the services which are in the form of the easy accessibility and the availability, and then that is the availability and accessibility is also being associated in the form of giving them 24/7 hours the services that is being needed by the target audience. Now, promotion, it is also one of the important component of the 7P, and we know that promotion is not only being related within a creation of the information, giving you creating the awareness and information only. It's not the same, it's not the case. So, but here the promotion is also being, the main objective of the promotion is to remind out the target audience, to remind out the customers very frequently regarding the core offerings that they are trying to deal upon. And here the core offerings are basically being related to the pure services. If we are talking of with regard to pure services, here the promotional appeal plays a very important role, because we know that each and every customer, they are being composed of within a unique blend of characteristics. Each and every customer, they are having a unique psychographic features, and it is not feasible for every service provider to just satiate out those divergent needs and the wants of these target group of customers. So, they are moving in for the adoption of the marketing segmentation, and by segmentation, by pursuing out the strategy of the segmentation, they are trying to identify the common preferences and the aspirations of the certain group of people who are holding out their same temperaments, who are having out their same purchase decision, or maybe their demographic validation is same, or the psychographic features are same. So, we are finding out a common resemblance amongst the divergent set of people who are there residing in the environment. And definitely the promotion, for making them aware, the promotional aspect is definitely it is being done. But apart from the awareness and the information aspect which is being floated by any of the promotional appeal being adopted by the service marketer, maybe in the form of advertisement, maybe in the form of the digital mode, they are floating out the information. They may also take the help of the sales, direct selling, or to the mode of print media, broadcast media can also be used upon. And in today's competitive scenario, we are also trying to take the help of the digital content, because nowadays each and every customer and the consumer, they are more techno savvy as compared to the yesteryears, and definitely they are making in for the purchase process. Before moving in for the purchase process, they are trying to gather more and more information with the help of the product reviews that is already being floated by the customers and the consumers who have purchased and have consumed all the services. They are trying to take the help of the product reviews. Similarly, they are trying to go in for the suggestions and the improvement that is already being posted by some of the earlier consumers who have purchased and consumed the product. So, here in case of services, the promotional appeal is also playing a very important role, because here we are seeing that frequently we have to give them a recall factor, frequently we have to give them a reinforcement, and that reinforcement will automatically lead towards creating a habit of the learned habit, that will lead towards the forming out of the learned habit. And we know that if the customers, they are learning out something, learning in the sense of the purchase process, learning in the sense of making out in a specific brand, using out in a specific brand, whenever there is a need, they will go in for a uses of the specific brand. So, this particular learned habit is being associated, it is all being associated within a repetitive purchase behavior when the promotional appeal is effectively being targeted upon to the target audience. Now, reinforcement, apart from the reinforcement, we have many a times we have discussed the same fact that continuously we have to make the customers aware, continuously we have to give them a triggering factor. Yes, we are there to help you out, we are there within a unique kind of offering. If you as a customer, you are moving in for the purchase process, definitely your hidden latent needs can be satisfied, because in many of the instances the customers and the consumers, they themselves are not knowing about the fact that there lies a certain kind of dormant needs among their personality. So, as an effective and an agile marketer, we have to make them aware that yes, we are there in the environment, we are coming out with a unique kind of proposition and the offerings which are having a capability to satiate out your dormant needs. So, that kind of objective and that kind of that kind of persuasion and the motivation should be done by using and by adopting any of the promotional appeal. Here in case of the services, we are more being prominent enough to take care of the uses of the direct sales, because here in case of the services, we know that the services, they themselves are being defined with the 4 of the important characteristics. They are having only 4 of the important characteristics, which are in the form of the intangibility, perishability, invariability and inconsistency. Variability and inconsistency. So here we are saying that the promotion, the promotion should be of direct in nature, because the services which are primarily composed of the pure services, here we have to just make the customers feel their conspicuous presence, because they are not being backed by any kind of tangible evidence. So as to give them a tangibility factor, this intangibility, certain kind of, you may say that a certain kind of tangible clues should be supported, should be backed, so that that particular abstractness or the lacunas that can be seen with regard to the characteristic of the intangibility, this abstractness can be removed to a greater extent, and it can be enjoyed and felt by the sensory organs whenever the tangible clues are also being supported with the help of the intangibility factors. So promotion, also one of the intangible elements that is associated with the flotation of the services, and they are in the form of giving them a facilitating aid, a supplementary aid towards enhancement of the services which are of pure in nature. Similarly, brand is also being talked of as one of the important component, wherein we as a service provider or we as a marketer, we are just trying to create certain kind of logo, a name, a letter, a design is being established, it is being created. Now that name, letter or a brand or logo that is being created, it gives them a unique identity. It is somewhat a strategy of creating out a uniqueness, a strategy of making out you yourself being talked of as one of the important component in the entire competitive scenario, and you are coming out with a unique kind of distinct image, which is very much being unique and creating a unique identity as compared to the offerings which the competitors are trying to float in the market area. So brand is somewhat, it is being talked of as naming, it is being talked of as a process wherein we as a service provider, we are going in for the naming process of a particular product. Here in case of the services, we are dealing off with regard to the abstract product, abstract offerings, but that too involves the strategy of pursuing out the branding process. Now moving on to the next slide. Now this slide says all about the people, and we know that it's being written here that the people are often critical elements of the service delivery and they form the tangible evidence of the quality. For example, it is being said that in hotel, it is the people who create the difference in the goods and the bad service delivery. A trained employee may be able to win a customer for life with a small gesture of goodwill. Similarly, in credit card marketing, financial marketing, real estate marketing, where the face-to-face contact is required, the people provide the physical evidence of the services they are marketing. Now, we know that we have reiterated many a times that it is the people who are holding out a very important position, who are being talked of as a very important asset for any organization, because the deployment of the manpower for every organization is very important to talk of. And here those manpower who are holding out the different job positions, their functional areas being defined. Firstly, we as a marketer, we are trying to gratify them with the important kind of factors like monetary pay and packages should be given to them. Similarly, their needs and expectations should be satiated at the very first juncture. Then only if they are being gratified and satisfied, they will be moving on within a wholehearted contribution, and the cooperation mechanism will be developed in the organization. Moreover, we are seeing that the people who are engaged in providing you then a front line, or who are holding out a very important crucial aspect of the front line staff, who are holding out the position of the front line staff, their needs and they have to be more being oriented enough, with regard to the core offerings that you are trying to deal. Because if they are knowing about the pros and the cons, if they are knowing about the do's and the don'ts, if they are very much being easy enough with regard to the composition and with regard to the functionality of your offerings, definitely they will be in a position to just create a good atmosphere, to just propagate the good functionality of your offerings to their target audience. So, firstly the people should be trained enough, they should be motivated enough, so that they can be having a good adequate knowledge regarding the core offerings which the services marketer are trying to deal in the market area. And when they are having an explorative view, when they themselves have having a detailed analysis of the offerings, of the core aspect of the services, then they will be in a position to deliver it out to the best of their ability to the target audience. We have taken an example like in a hotel, it is the people, it says that in a hotel it is the people who create the difference in the goods and the bad services of delivery. A trained employee may be able to win a customer for life for a small gesture of the goodwill. Definitely in we can take any of the example. Here we have taken an example of the hospitality sector or a hotel or a restaurant in which we are just moving in for the certain kind of dining out process, or we are moving in for a certain kind of reasons. So, if in a hotel we are visiting out to in a restaurant and a hotel, definitely it is the people who are creating out a good kind of gestures, their gestures, their appearance, their personality, the way they behave, their psychographic elements like the attitudes, the opinions, the beliefs that they are holding, how they are giving out the attitude in the form of the their serving attitude, what is their serving attitude, similarly how they are behaving, how much helpful they are towards providing you a proper delivery process of the services. All these factors, all these variables counts a lot. So, here we are saying that in case of visiting to a hotel or in a restaurant, it is the people who are being authorized enough to be motivated, who are being expected enough to be trained so that their proper composition can be, their proper psychographic features can be trained enough, it can be motivated enough in order to provide an effective delivery process to the services. And the small gestures, thinking out or going it out of the way, sometimes going it out of the way to help out the customers, to consumers, all these things counts a lot. If you are in a need, then definitely, if in case of certain instances that particular need or the fulfillment of a need is very much being prominent enough for you as a customer, for you as a consumer, then definitely the people are having that particular kind of empathy and the resilience, they will be moving in to provide you a good and best service. So, the good communication skill, the interpersonal skill, the intrapersonal skill, apart from that the empathy, the sense of the empathy, the resilience and the perseverance should be within the working habits of these people, because the frontline people are in direct touch with the end users, and if they are psychographic elements in the form of the attitudes, motivation, perception, belief, personality, learning habit, they are being in touch with the meeting expectations of the customers, and definitely they will be coming out within a good approach. And these small gestures of the helping attitude, these small gestures of giving them a greater appeal, giving them a greater comfort zone to the target audience will be helping the service provider or the organization to create a goodwill factor for them. Similarly, we have taken another example like in case of the credit card marketing or the financial marketing, the real estate marketing, where the face-to-face contact is being required. The people provide the physical evidence of the services they are marketing. Now, in case of financial sector, in case of the real estate sector, in case of the credit card, the people who are being engaged in providing the credit card facilities, here we know that in any of the sector, like in the financial sector or the real estate sector, we know that we as a customer or we as a consumer, we are not getting something which can be conspicuously being recognized by our sensory organs. We are getting out the benefits, the deeds and the associations which are basically abstract in nature. Their prominence are more being seen in terms of their abstractness, their intangibility, and the things that can only be cherished upon, the deeds and the phenomena, the experiences that can only be treasured upon and can be cherished upon. So, in those sectors, like in case of the financial sector, in case of the banking sector, the real estate agents, the people who are being involved in the real estate agents, they are in the need of providing you the services which are very much being pure in nature, and apart from that, we as in a service organization, we have to have that particular kind of feeling wherein we are in direct touch with the customers. So, having a face-to-face contact an important factor, because in case of the pure services, we know that the strategy of the promotion that is direct in nature, that is direct selling, is being adopted enough. Because of this intangibility factor, we as in a service organization, we should be having out this particular kind of approach, wherein an in-person approach, wherein a direct approach with the target audience is being made up enough. So, here we are saying that the face-to-face contact is being required on the part of the people who are delivering you the services, because in case of the financial sector, if you are moving in for the opening of an account, if you are moving in for the loan disbursement, if you are just trying to go in for certain kind of services which are being more engaged enough and which are more being prominent enough in case of the abstractness, definitely we have to just ensure that their credibility has to be defined by the people who are being engaged in providing you the effective deliverance of the service. So, the face-to-face contact is being required, and the people who provide the physical evidence of the services, they are marketing. Definitely, here the people should try to tangibilize out the intangible clues, and the tangible evidence should more be taken care of, and they should be used as a supporting or the facilitating goods for the purpose of highlighting out the intangibility factor, or for the purpose of just making out this intangibility factor to be more being prominent enough, to be more being recognized enough by the target audience. Now, here the place is saying that place play a very important role in tangibilizing out the service offerings. Quality of the services is perceived by the customer from the place of the delivery. For example, we are saying that the clean, well laid down interiors of the hotel room depicts the quality of the service delivery. Similarly, in the banking field, the customer perceives the quality of the service from the premises of the bank branch. Now, here the question lies that how do you perceive the quality of the service when you compare the premises of an American Express with the State Bank of India? Now, place, it's all being related. We are saying that it's an important role of tangibilizing out the service offerings. The place is all being related with the help, it's all being related in the sense of certain kind of tangible evidence. It's all being related wherein we as a human being, we as a living being, we are being able enough to recognize it out with our sensory organs, because they are more being prominent enough in the case of the tangibility factor. So, the place playing a very important role in tangibilizing out the services, because in many of the instances, we as a customer and a consumer, we are perceiving out the quality of the services of the service provider by looking at and by recognizing out the premises or the location in which the services are being delivered enough. So, the quality of the services, in many instances, we are just trying to judge and we are just trying to evaluate out the efficacy of the services by the service organization, being provided by the service organization, by associating the place wherein it is being delivered upon. Like we have taken an example, if we are visiting out to a hotel or to a restaurant, definitely their ambience, their decor, their beauty, the thematic representation, the aesthetic appeal, the cleanliness, the hygiene factor, all these are the abstractness, and these abstractness, in spite of their abstractness, in spite of their intangibility factor, we are just associating the consumption and the the quality of the food meals with the cleanliness and the hygiene of that particular hotel or the restaurant. So, we are saying that the same thing, that we are saying that the well clean laid out interiors of the hotel or the hotel reflects the quality of the service delivery. Definitely, the interiors and the exteriors play a very important role, and here the interiors are basically a factor which should be taken in a very sensitive factor to talk of, because if a certain customer or consumer have visited out to your hotel or restaurant, definitely they will be trying to just they will trying to explore, and they will be trying to associate out the quality and the consumption of your meals with the these kind of association of these kind of intangibility factors, that is the ambience, the decor, the thematic representation, the helping attitude of the waiters and the attendants, the proper cleanliness and the hygiene. Definitely that will go a long way towards building up a rapport with you as a customer. Similarly, if you have visited to a banking or a financial sector, you can perceive, you as a customer, you are perceiving out the quality of the services which these financial institutions are offering you in terms of providing them a greater appeal of giving them a proper loan disbursement, or giving them a proper help in the form of flotation of the credit cards or opening up of your bank account. All these quality of the services are being judged by the decor and the ambience in which the bank is being operated enough. So the premises should be cleaner, it should not be it should be decluttered, should be cluttered free. It should be good in terms of the manpower who are being deployed, their persona, their personality, the way they are being dressed up, how they are behaving, etiquettes, manners and mannerism, all this counts a lot. And the question here we are saying that if you are comparing out the quality of the services with any of the foreign players, definitely we as a service provider or service organization will be having out that particular kind of differentiation in which we are being able enough to improve ourselves, the suggestions and the feedback which the customers are giving to us, the competitors are giving to us. There are other stakeholders which are operating in the competitive scenario, and they will be helping us out to just improve out our functionality in terms of the delivery process. Definitely that will be helping us out to improve our quality of the services, to be placed in a globalized scenario at a global level, to be at par with the players who are at the global level, and that will be helping us out to improve our quality of the service delivery process. Now moving to the next slide, that is here promotion. It's all being related to the promotion, and here we are seeing that the goal of the promotional strategies for the services to make the tangible factor to dramatize out the benefits. For example, we have taken many resorts send promotional video tapes to facilities and benefits available at the resort for preview of the customer before they decide to buy out the services. Now, Personal Point Care Limited, through its promotional campaigns, offers lifelong assurance scheme, the benefit of staying slim forever of one-time payment. Now, the promotional strategies, we know that these are the goal of every promotional strategy is to just create out a persuasion factor, to give them a motivation factor to the customers. And we have taken one of the example, like many of the hotels or many of the resorts, they are just trying to float out their promotional videotapes so as to give them a preview, so as to give the customers a preview of that, how they are floating out their services, how much good quality of the services they are trying to dispose. And before the customers are really moving in for the purchase and the consumption of their offerings, like visiting to a particular resort or a particular hotel, they will be just making up their minds that whether this particular resort and a hotel is good enough to move in for or not, and they will be just creating a distinction, and the differentiation can be done by the customers before moving in for the real consumption of the services. And here one of the other example is being given, like we have taken an example of Personal Point Care Limited, and they have floated out the promotional campaigns, and they are saying that if this particular campaign is all being associated with giving you a slim and trim figure, and this says that the benefit of staying slim forever for one time payment. It means that here certain kind of grooming center, certain kind of wellness center, they can be giving you a persuasive element by promoting out their products, that if you are ready enough to get yourself being talked of as having a slim and trim figure, having a greater appeal in your personality, these are the add-ons that we can give you in the form of giving or making out one-time payment by the customers, and the customers will be getting out a groomed personality for a lifelong to cherish upon. Now, This is in a brand, this is all brand which says that is being composed of a names, letters, composition of the names, letters or the symbols, any kind of designs and the graphics representation can be done. Here we are seeing that this slide says that the inverted U of McDonald's, and similarly one of the logo and the brand of Sahara Airlines is also being represented here. We are saying that the brand also adds the tangibility to the intangibles. We are seeing that how to tangibilize out the intangibles, and for the purpose of tangibilizing out the intangible clues, we are taking out the help of the people or the promotion or the brand. So, here brand is also being talked about as one of the component towards giving her a greater appeal of tangibilizing out the intangibles. And we are saying that the brand helps to differentiate the services from the competitors in terms of the name, logo and others. Definitely, it is one of the strategy towards making out a differentiation factor, towards creating out a unique position, unique image into the minds of the prospects, so that the prospects themselves, by looking at the brand, by looking at the logo, they will be just moving for the purchase decision without making any kind of extra promotional appeal. So, here we as a marketer, we have to just make sure that these important components in the form of the people, promotion and the brand should be taken care of as a very important factor to just help the customers to associate out the quality of the services which they are trying to offer with the help of these kind of tangibility clues, that is people, process and people, people, promotion and branding to be taken care of. So, I think that with this we have dealt it in today's session, we have dealt with regard to how to just make out that intangibility factors to be solved in a more prominent way, how the tangible clues will be helping the service provider and the service marketer to just remove out the problem of the intangibility by taking the help of the promotion or branding or the people. So, with this I am ending up my session here only. In the next session we will be moving on with the next topic. So, till then stay safe and stay blessed. Thank you all for joining.